Homes are being sold, going pending in under 22 days. Does the number look identical to the crash? The reason I'm sharing all this with you guys because again, I want you guys to actually look at the data, do your own research. Don't even listen to my word or Lisa's or like a guru or anybody. Do your own research, But based off of what we see right here, does it look like we're gonna go into a crash? Market crash. All right. Now, I am getting a lot of y'all asking me about this. You guys are saying, oh man, every guru on YouTube and the social media is saying a market crash is already happening or it is gonna happen. Like, don't buy a home, don't do this, don't do that. The world's falling apart. So I kind of just want to share some data again with you guys. Unfortunately, I can't go too far off like I had hope because you can only go off so far. So I went all the way to April of 2008. And that is when the crash happened, remember? Okay, so I kind of want you guys to look at the data. We're going to do that for 08, 09, all right? So again, is the market going to be crashing? Let's look. Okay, and compared to today's market. So if you guys look right here, this is April of 2008. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Look at the inventory. 8,500 homes. This is like right when the crash happened, right there. Okay, if you guys could see how as the months went by, remember this is 2010 over here. Okay, you guys see how inventory started going up, leveling, but then once the crash started fully taking effect towards the end of 08, it started going down. Inventory started going down. You see that? And it went all the way down to the lowest of about 5,000 homes. So almost half of the inventory on the market went down. Okay, so that was right here, 2009, mid 2009. If you guys look at new listings, a lot of homes were on the market, about 3,000 new listings. It kept being like that monthly, 3,000 new listings monthly. Man, imagine we had that kind of inventory, huh? 3,000 new listings. You guys see that, right? This blue line. And you see how it kind of started dipping in November and it started stabilizing towards 2010. It started stabilizing like around 2,000 new inventories coming every month. Okay, pending home pretty steady, about 2,000 homes go pending every month during 2008 to 2010. Sold homes pretty stable too, like about 1,500 to 2,000 homes were sold on average every month during that time. Now if you guys look, I want you guys to look at the days on the market. Days on the market in 2008 of April. 90 days on average. 92 days on average. Remember what I said earlier? Right now, on average, a home stays on the market for 23 days. In 2008, it took 92 days for a home on average to get off the market and go pending. This is not me saying it, okay? This is the data. It started kind of going down, and towards the end of mid 2009, it started getting low. Now it started averaging around 62 days. 62 days. That's still 3 times more than what we're seeing right now. Remember that, because we're gonna talk about all of this towards the end. Now let's look at the price. You guys are gonna hate the price. Average price, $250,000. Okay, average sold price was $250,000 in April 2008, and it started going down because of the crash, right? Started going down, and then when it got to early 2009, the lowest was around $187,000 on average that a home was being sold.
Can we see the average houses on the market at that time? How long it took to sell in 2009, Chia?
2009. Okay.
Yeah, let's see how many days on the market that was.
It took 79 days.
See, this is the reason why I asked this. You guys see the difference in these numbers, right? In 2008 is when it was publicly known. Like it was really super obvious that the market crashed, but technically it happened in 2006 already, guys. Okay, it happened in 2006, and the reason why I say that is because the banks were already trying to file for bankruptcy. The first lending company that I worked for in 2007, guys, we were let go after 6 months, and we didn't get our last paychecks, and we had files up the wazoo. And here's where the difference between then and now is, so that you guys can have an idea. Back then, I would have to say almost every single loan was a stated income loan. What that means is whatever you say on your application that your income is, the income that was used. And when I took loan applications at that time, I was working kind of like at a call center type of thing when I first started. And we were getting 10, 20 applications every single day for people to refinance out in their bait and switch loans. You guys think this bait and switch is bad? They were loans called the negative arm loans. Negative arm meaning just like the credit cards, right? Just like your credit cards. If you're paying minimum payments, if you owed 500,000 the next month, if you're making minimum payments, you now just owed $502,000. So that keeps accruing. It is not happening in this market. So those of you guys who are waiting for 2008 to happen, most likely not.
But you know that during that time, what was the average interest rate?
Yeah, 6.5% to 7.5% as well, guys. So it wasn't that much lower than what it is right now. For you guys, if you guys are thinking, was like, well, okay, well now the rates are getting back up there. Why aren't we coming down? Here's where that deceleration market is coming into, because people aren't desperate to sell. People were super desperate to sell at that time because many of them were investment properties. Most of the people that had foreclosed, they were buying 9, 10, 20 houses at a time.
Yep.
So many brokerage firms, unfortunately, had to pay a hefty fine or went to jail. That was unfortunately the truth at that time. Not so much at this time. And I say not so much at this time because unfortunately, shadiness still happens. Apparently, I just found out like a couple weeks ago when I had to do my continuing education as a mortgage loan officer. I have to get this every single year. I have to do this every single year. And the crash happened publicly in 2008. Loan officers did not have to get a license until 2010. And the reason why we had to get licensed was because of that, guys.
So yeah, look at that. Okay, the lowest price went was $188,000 on average for a home.
Chia, we know now what we know then, right? Guys, you guys who are having 300 to 500 amount of equity in your house right now, if you sell right now, just rent right now, just wait for this to happen, you can buy like 2, 3, 4, 5 homes, guys.
As long as you don't get itchy hands and spend the money you made from selling your house.
Yes.
Okay, as long as you don't get itchy hands, then you could do it. But we know how the average person is. They get a big lump sum, 200K from equity from just selling their home. It's sitting in their bank and it's burning a hole in their pocket. They're like, oh, I gotta spend this money, you know? And then 3, 4 years down the line, the crash happens and they're like, I ain't got no more money left to buy all these good deals.
Well, if that were to happen, you guys, before you guys do that, make sure you guys have a corporation, S Corp, LLC, whatever it is. You guys put it in the South Africa. Okay, have employees. Everybody in your family member an employee. Put it all there. Let it sit. Put it in S&P 500, whatever it is, so that it can grow even more if you aren't able to buy again.
Let's finish it off with the inventory. Okay, so remember how I always say you need to have at least 4 to 6 months worth of inventory in order for it to be a buyer's market. In April of 2008, inventory was at basically 5 months worth of inventory. 5 months worth, and then it started going down, and then when it was at the lowest, right, the price was at the lowest, inventory was 3.2 months worth of inventory. But remember, it still kept being steady though, so it was still above like 2.5 months, 3 months worth. Okay, it never went below 2 months worth of inventory during that whole period. And then 2010 came and inventory shot right back up to 4.5 months worth of inventory. So in conclusion, if anybody tells you that a crash is happening, compare today's data to that time period's data. Right now, we have on average 2 months worth of inventory. Homes are being sold, going pending in under 22 days. The price on average is over $600,000. Interest rate is hovering around 7.5%, 8% right now. Does it look like we're gonna go into a crash? Does the number look identical to the crash? The reason I'm sharing all this with you guys, because again, I want you guys to actually look at the data, do your own research. You know, obviously I'm sharing this from the numbers with you guys, but you guys want to do your own research. Don't even listen to my word or Lisa's or like a guru or anybody. Do your own research, you know? But based off of what we see right here, I'm telling you, I don't think a crash is happening anytime soon. As a matter of fact, you know, I sent a little picture to Lisa and Charles earlier from the National Association of Realtors. they think interest rates might go back down next year. They think it might go back down to 6%, possibly. Are they right? I don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. It's just a suggestion. Like what we're doing right now. We're just kind of playing along with it to see how it will play. If it ends up being 6%, you got to really consider this. What's going to happen to the price? Remember, we have very low inventory already.
Yeah.
All the buyers that were waiting for the rates to come down or price to come down to re-enter the market again, they're all waiting. So what do you think is gonna happen when the rates come from 8% now to like 6.5%?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna look at it like, oh my god, that's a good deal. We gotta jump on it.
Wouldn't you rather buy now, solidify that house, and then refinance it later on? Now, of course, only do this if you make sure that your payments for the 8% is feasible for you, is within your budget. So if the market goes well, great, refinance. If the market doesn't, hey, you prepared yourself, right?
So again, goes back to what me and Lisa always preach about. Ignore the rates, what it looks like today. Ignore the price. Look at your payment. Look at your budget. If your budget is $3,000 a month that you cannot exceed, that means including utilities, all of that, property taxes, all of that.
Here's the silver lining. The higher your interest rate is, the more your tax write-offs are. Take a look at those numbers.
We're not gonna talk about tax benefits of being a homeowner in this. We're gonna probably have to bring in one of our CPA guys to come and talk about that. But then there's benefits to that. Going back to what I was saying, focus on your budget. All right, if you can find a home right now in this market at 8% with high prices, if you can find a home right now that fits your need and it's within that budget, just do it. Here's why. You're gonna avoid moving if you have a landlord that is preparing for this to go. If the rates do go down and prices go up, that landlord's gonna want to sell. And you're the tenant, you're gonna have to find a new home and you're gonna have to pay market rent based off of that time. Okay, that's one. Two, at least you're gonna have that sense of security for you and your family to where that doesn't happen to you, and then you'll be safe and sound, and you know that your budget is within your budget and you're not going anywhere. Your job security is there. Everything is good. You take care of yourself by budgeting, right? And three, if the rates end up coming down, you could always refinance. Okay?
Yeah.
I even have people, Lisa, that are saying this. Why am I going to spend money on buying down the rate when I could just hold that money? Let's say it's $30,000. Instead of using that to buy down my rate and save $50 a month, why don't I just hold on to that $30,000 and make a extra payment of $1,000 a month to give me breathing room until the rates go down, and then do a rate buy down? Because at least by then my principal will already be lower versus putting it towards a rate buy down. Like, what do you think about that?
So guys, not to be confused with the 3-2-1 buy down. Right now, it might be most of my clients are buying down the rates, but they're buying it down permanently, not just temporary. One, it's cheaper to buy it down permanently. You don't get the whole point off, but here's where I crunch the numbers for people, where I was like, okay, if you buy it down by 1%, this is how long it's going to take you to recoup that cost. So when you refinance, there's costs with refinances too. It's just tagged into the lien. So a lot of times, people don't know that, especially if you have a lender that, again, does that bait and switch and doesn't really talk to you about all of that stuff that you're financing, right? My rule of thumb is, if you're going to make that up in less than 5 years, if it's less than 3 years, whammy, do it, okay? Because if the rate gets low, it's going to be low at the point where you already bought it down anyway. So then you don't have to do anything at all and spend more money on refinancing. And if it's more than that, and if you know that you're not gonna, it's a temporary situation for you, then yeah, that might not make sense for you. But for so far, okay, in this market, with the inventory the way that it is right now, guys, take the safer route. Buy it, but buy it permanently. Don't buy it the temporary one, because the temporary one, super expensive.
That's the 3-2-1 buy down.
Correct.
Or the 2-to-1 buy down that Eva was talking about earlier, that a lot of builders are offering.
Yeah, any temporary ones right now.
And that is the show, Chi fams. If you guys have more questions about that, just shoot them in the comments. We'll answer them accordingly. We love it when you guys engage with us. It makes us feel you guys are super interested in the topics that we're talking about. But hey, if you guys have topics you guys want us to talk about, shoot them in the comment section down below. Let us know. I read all my comments. I would love to engage with you guys down there. But all right, you guys take care. Have a good night. See you guys next time. Peace.